Merry Christmas. This is our annual video Christmas card. We hope you enjoy it. Of course, since retiring, we've been traveling quite a bit. But I started off in January going down to Dominican Republic and with Meeting God in Missions, and we went to Village 50, and built some cement block homes for these people, the Haitian refugees that worked in the sugarcane field. You can see my whole video of about 17 minutes on YouTube if you'd like. On the way to DC to see the cherry blossoms, we stopped at Gettysburg. With the magic of cell phones, we realized that our daughter-in-law, Janelle, was coming to a conference in DC, so we spent some time with her before her duties started. Our first trip to the West Coast was because of the American Rhododendron Society in Seattle the first week in May, and it was a gorgeous weather. And then in June we went to the Mill Convention in southern Indiana and had a great time there, and then kept on going right up to the HOSTA Convention in Milwaukee. As we drive around the country, we like to go visit unique restaurants, and we check out the 3Ds from Guy Fieri on the Food Channel, and like to have unique meals at some of these diners, drive-in, and dives. Besides eating, we like to go visit some of our friends that we haven't seen for a long time. Might be a surprise visit, or we might give you a heads up here. And then we go and visit family. Here's my sister from Germany that came to visit. And then on our way to Milwaukee, we visited Karen's sister, Marcia, and Bill and their family. And we even visited our old stomping grounds at Trinity College. Then on to Milwaukee for the HOSTA Convention. And we saw some beautiful gardens. This moss garden from a man on the west side of Milwaukee. But speaking of hostas, we grow some pretty good ones out the back here in the yard. And you see Buddy and Hannah standing next to them, along with the head gardener. Here we are in Florida for 4th of July. Our trips to Florida will probably become more frequent because several of us went together and purchased some income property. So we were down to Florida 3 times this year to see the grandkids and to have fun. I'll let Buddy and Hannah tell you about them.
We had fun in Florida because we got to see Darcy and Lucan catch some awesome fish, and we got to eat out sometimes, and it was really fun. We even got to see some airplanes, and I can't wait to see Darcy this week for Christmas. We went over to Disney Resort and had breakfast with Goofy and Donald, and it was so fun. It was awesome.
On the way back from Florida, we also stopped at Nashville and had a family reunion with Jared and Janelle from Tulsa to come and meet us and see Grammy, who has moved to Nashville now to be next to her daughter there, Jan and Jim.
We went to a restaurant in Nashville. We saw so much fish. It was cool. With Jonah, we even got some crabs, and we went in the pools.
Our last convention of the year was the National Railroad Historical Society convention in Alaska. We flew into Fairbanks in September and traveled many miles, about 95% of all the rails in Alaska, and flew out in Anchorage. It was a great trip, great scenery. Weather was great. I'd recommend this trip to anybody. Most everyone gets off the train and the train backs up, and then everybody's taking pictures and videos as the train comes up forward again until everybody gets back on. Sometimes it's too windy and so on, and Karen just stays on the train, but then she goes up to the dome car and get a great view. We were there in the week of autumn. When we came into Fairbanks, everything was yellow with the aspens and so on. And by the time it was time to fly out, about the 20th of September, the snow was on the mountains. Field there was all small blueberry bushes, so we walked across a lot of blueberries. This is a very scenic area that the Alaska Railroad uses on their brochures. We overnighted one night in Denali National Park and were greeted in Anchorage by all sorts of characters. It was a fun time. And of course the train would pose wherever we asked it to pose. Now this couple that we had lunch with are also attending mill conferences. So we knew they were coming. We had seen them earlier in March in Pennsylvania at a mill conference. Now, Alaska is known for its wildlife, and we saw lots of bear and moose and buffalo. And of course, I took these pictures hopefully that you couldn't see the wire behind this wildlife conservation area. Like I said, the weather was beautiful. Hardly a cloud in the sky, and for 3 nights in a row we could see Denali from our hotel room in Anchorage 130 miles away. Our third trip to Florida was in November, and one of the highlights was an evening presentation. Darcy received a medal for her age group for the beautiful paintings that she had done. Eric's business, Pro Aquatics, is expanding, and they're building a new 16,000 square foot warehouse. And of course, grandkids, it's time to lose teeth. So here's some of the teeth that they lost. At the beginning of November, we flew out to Tulsa to visit the 4 J's. To see Jonah and Jesse go off to school. And one lunch we even had at Jonah's school. And it's fun to always go trick-or-treating around the neighborhood. And then to take them to the aquarium, the Tulsa Aquarium, where you can see lots of different animals doing strange things.
He's like an acrobat. I hope he comes down the slide. You think he will? Where did he go? Oh, there he is.
Back home we see lots of Buddy and Hannah, even a a January picnic outside or birthday parties in February and March. And we try to do an adventure a week when Nana and Gramps are home. So it could be ice fishing out at the peninsula or going to look for maple syrup. Here he's using a steam engine, or going off to the Cleveland Zoo. Spend a day there and then going on a train ride in Cleveland. Just talk.
We went on the bouncy house and we made a dusty.
So from visiting the Fall Fest, picking up snakes with other boys, or visiting the Amish, or baking cookies, it's a great time in the summertime to go on an adventure, and Buddy is always willing to help with the right equipment on. My youngest sister Arlene from Tennessee was diagnosed with cancer, and my sister Belva took care of her until her death at the beginning of August. And she's buried out in Northeast along with her mother and father and her grandparents. For Thanksgiving, we spent with Kent and Amy in Dayton, Ohio, then went down to Tennessee to see Grammy and all the gang down in Tennessee. But now it's a week before Christmas and we need to get things in order and go off and take pictures and go to the train station for Christmas in the station and ride the caboose ride a couple of weekends ago.
So, we like the train ride at the train station.
It's fun to see the grandkids know the real meaning of Christmas. And here Hannah, just before we put her to bed, broke into a spontaneous interpretive dance of one of her favorite praise songs. And so hopefully we all praise His holy name at this Christmas season and every day of 2014.
Your holy name. Oh, my soul. Oh, my soul. Worship your holy name. Jesus, I will worship your holy name. Worship your holy name.